Now 250,000. Now, but to get 275. High, but to get 275. 3. Now 300,000. Now 3 1/4. 325. High, but to get 3 1/4. But to get 325. Now half. Now but to get 300. And good morning from Dallas at Lincoln Center at the intersection of the Dallas North Tollway and LBJ Freeway. Good morning, everyone. Glad to have you along. This is Mike Jones, and you're watching the Mike McGavel Jones Show. And we've got a special guest this morning. It's still hot in Texas, let me tell you. I don't know what it was. I noticed like 106 degrees. It's supposed to be heading towards spring or fall, but it's not happening. So it's kind of a weird thing. It's like hot, hot, hot. My guest today is Jaclyn Wolf. And hello.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good. Well, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
You are doing a lot of things, so we have a lot to talk about. And tell me the name of your company.
Wolf Locators. It's apartment locating.
Okay, so you do apartment locating, and we're also going to talk about your real estate work. You're a realtor, and you're with United Real Estate here in Dallas. And you're also heavy duty into social media, and we're going to talk about all that. And you're a mom.
Yes.
So
busy.
Yeah. I don't know how you had time to do the show. So tell me about you, where you grew up. So tell me about where you were born and all that.
I was born in Dallas. My family originally was from Oak Cliff. And so as a baby, I stayed in Oak Cliff a lot. And then we gravitated toward Mesquite. So most of my life, I grew up in Mesquite, Texas.
And what did your family do? What did your parents do?
My mom, she's really big into accounting and always works for a lot of owners. She actually works for the man that owns Flying Saucer and all those restaurants. So she's very hands-on with him.
Yep.
And then my father always worked as an x-ray technician. He was always a supervisor in radiology, which was fun growing up because I actually sometimes had to stay the night. And he worked nights, and I would stay the night in hospitals. And I'd go, there was rooms, like the dark room where you develop the x-rays, and they'd spin. And I just thought it was so cool as a kid. But I grew up basically in a hospital.
I grew up in a hospital.
Yeah, basically. And everybody knew me, and it was crazy. But I think that's kind of why I'm such a social person, too, because I was always around people.
I think that makes all the sense in the world. We usually end up gravitating towards things that are common to us. You know, my grandparents were very social, and they were always out, and they knew everybody, and they loved to dance, and so they were always around people having a good time. So I think that's why it made it a lot easier for me to be that way.
Yeah.
So where'd you go to high school?
I went to John Horn High School. At the time, I actually went to Florence Black, then Agnew, and then there's Mesquite High School, which is the main one. But right when I was getting into high school, they just built that new school in Mesquite. It was Horn, so there was barely any students there. So I started right when they built that. So
beginning. So what did you do as a kid?
Actually, as a kid, I was really into sports. My dad worked nights, so during the day, he actually did a lot with us, went on field trips and everything. And he was a coach, and my brother was captain of the football team. So right when I was getting 5 and I can pick a sport, of course, I picked football. And I played flag football and wanted to be like that. I literally like the girl off the movie Remember the Titans with Denzel Washington.
Yep.
When she's yelling at him, and my brother and his friends, my dad would be at practice telling them to do their stretches and run. I was yelling at them too, like a boss from the little baby. I was boss.
So what's your favorite movie?
Remember the Titans, probably more because I would probably relate to her, but I would have to say on the girly side, I love Grease too.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's funny. So you end up getting married?
Yes, I did. He's great. He's an electrician, and we actually dated when we were younger as kids, and then of course as kids, like, we broke up and didn't see each other for 6 years, and somehow life brought us back together. He had a son. I had a son in that 6 years that we weren't talking or really knew each other or were around each other. And then we got married and had 2 kids of our own. So we had a boy and a girl together.
Yours, mine, and ours.
So 4 kids all together.
Yep. Give me the ranges.
9 is my stepson, and then my oldest will be 9 in October. So they're kind of 10 months apart, really. And then our kids together, Cannon is 4, and our daughter Leela is about to be 3 in December.
Yeah, you really have your hands full.
Yes.
Yeah, it's fun's just beginning.
Yeah, and the girl's the one that makes me nervous more than the 3 boys.
Having a daughter, I can understand that.
Well, she's the youngest, but she's tough. She's not scared of them brothers at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what did you do as far as work early on? Like, what did you start out doing?
Well, as a teenager, I would say waitressing, hosting, the basics on that. But I actually had my first corporate job was at a logistics company, actually. I was a broker. I worked for a broker company that worked with logistics and transportation and railroad and over-the-road trucks. And that was my first corporate job. And I would say I learned a lot from that, And then after that, I actually was a bookkeeper in a nursing home. So I actually helped with the financing, helped families apply for Medicaid and Medicare for their loved ones in the nursing home that couldn't afford it. And so that also was a lot of socializing too, because I had to help with the family. And I also was kind of the bad guy, I guess I would say. They didn't, I'm the collector of money, and then, they're going through that emotional time with their loved ones.
So one minute you're being nice and helping them get medicated, and the next minute you're calling them.
Yeah. So it was really tough, and it really broke my heart. So that's how I knew that wasn't going to be the right fit for me, because it really did break. I didn't want to be the bad guy. I wanted to be the helper, but at the same time, that position kind of puts you in that category. Yeah. So that was really hard, and I knew that wasn't going to fit. And then I ended up with my husband when we were pregnant with our first child together. After that, I stayed at home. And then that's when real estate. I was a stay-at-home mom for a while.
Well, let's talk about we're going to talk about real estate, but I also want to talk about what you're very passionate about right now, and that is apartments. So tell me about getting people together and placing them or helping them locate or what. And just tell me about your business.
So it's really great.
And tell me the name of your company.
Wolf Locators.
Okay.
So it's apartment locating. We're Wolf Locators.
Okay.
We do DFW, but surrounding cities as well. And it's a free service to our clients because it's the apartments that pay the commission. So a lot of people don't understand, like, well, is this going to cost me money for you to do this? And it doesn't. It doesn't cost any money for the clients. We have basically our own MLS database, but it's called Smart Apartment Data. But it's the same thing as an MLS for an agent in residential. And we call the apartments, we get the specials, we try to get them the best rates and reduced rates for the towns and the locations that they want, especially if it's Uptown or Knox Henderson, where all the retail and the nice areas are and the pretty areas. But they want that budget that's not going to fit that. We try to make it to where they can have the location they want in that price range that they want.
So how do you find these clients?
So I have an Instagram, and for the younger generation, it's mostly Instagram, I would say. Like that grabs their attention. It's just easy. It's more photos than posts and tags, but it works the same as Facebook, but the younger generation right now is just Instagram. So I go and my team goes once a day. One of us will go to an apartment. We ask what's vacant, what do you need now to get a tenant in, and what's your specials, and we try to find something that's going to work that we know is going to appeal to most people. Like, that's the apartment I want, that's a good price, that's a great location, that's near my work. So we tour. I do the videos, I add music to it, I edit it, I list all the amenities to it, and we post on our Instagram. And all our followers will DM us. They come to us and they're like, where is that? That's so beautiful. That's the kind of kitchen I want. And then we just kind of go from there. So really they're coming to us. So the post that we do and then the work.
That drives the people to you.
Because they see the pictures and the photos, and they see that we could go out there ourselves. This isn't something where we just pull from their website. We're going to the apartments. We're building those relationships with those leasing agents too. So then that way, when they do pick the apartment and it's time to put in that application, we already have us being there. We have a building relationship already with those leasing agents, and they they can let us know. And also those apartments will email me everything that they have available weekly. You know, I keep that relationship with them, so it's just easy for both of us and the client, and a lot of communication. But as far as getting the clients, it's mostly just doing the touring, editing, posting, and constantly being on social media and putting it in the stories and everything. So it's just constant. It's a lot of work. Social media can be work, but like I said, they come to me. I'm not out there door knocking. Mm-hmm. You know, they come to me by my Instagram and my profile.
So how did you come up with this idea? What made you go, oh, I think I want to do that?
Well, speaking of my husband a little bit earlier, his cousin is in real estate and she was doing it. And I was a stay-at-home mom. And so she posted on Facebook one day, I need an assistant. And it was just her. She didn't have a team yet. And she needed an assistant. And I was like, hey. And it was kind of like a joke. I wasn't really that serious. I was like, hey, I'll do it, you know. And she's like, are you for real? You'll do it? And so then she kind of like trained me. It was just like assisting mostly, like calling the apartments for prices, things like that I could do for her just to get stuff off her plate, basically. And then I got interested, and then since I had that bookkeeping background, I started helping her with the invoices and invoicing the apartments for her and doing things like that, and calling them and just keeping up with that. But I was around that, and then she was able to build a team. So I really do owe it to her to get me into real estate. I actually always thought I need to get my license because I want to do this, but I thought I'd actually be more into the residential. I thought I liked the apartments, but I was like, I think I want to do residential though. And then once I got my license, I was like, no. I like the social, the Dallas, the high rises. You know, I love that it's more fast paced than working. You know, I like residential as well, but it just doesn't seem like it's my niche as much as the apartment locating is. Mm-hmm. So I can do both, and I like both. I have the marketing, so listings, you know, I love doing the open houses. I love marketing and pushing people's houses to sell. So I do love that, but I just feel like it's a more slow, and I like that fast pace. Mm-hmm. Every day out somewhere, touring this, doing that, every day meeting with this client, having lunch with the client, going to the Locators lunch the apartments host. I just feel like I'm more of an event person. Mm-hmm. And so apartment locating allows me to do that and help people at the same time.
So what is the name of the organization that the apartment complexes are members of?
So each apartment has their own property manager company. So what do you mean? Well,
I used to be in a building about, one intersection west of here, and we used to have a company or an organization. It was like the apartment, I don't know, it was the apartment association or something, but it was like all the different apartment associations were a part of this one organization.
Oh, okay.
And I just remember the sign. I don't remember anything about it. So I didn't know if there was, as you know, you're a realtor. And so you know about National Association of Realtors and Texas Association of Realtors, yes. all our associations. And then, but I'm sure there is some mothership for, like I was watching something on Facebook the other day, and Dan and Laura Dodson from Storage Wars, the TV show, they were attending I guess it's the Self-Storage Association convention. So he was doing these social media films, these selfie films, where he's walking around. He's gotten into doing this a lot, and he and I are friends, and so he, here he is. He's walking all around Las Vegas at this show, but it's where literally all the people who own storage facilities or want to own or trying to learn about, they all congregate. So everybody's got somewhere to go.
Yeah.
I mean, you can find somebody that wants you to pay their $200.
Yes.
But they look like they're having a blast,
Yeah, that sounds like.
I didn't know if the apartment relocation group had an association or not.
Well, they all have a property management company that owns them in a corporate, but as far as association, I don't know what their association. I know that they have to follow TREC rules, just like the realtors. They have to do that. So if it's a TREC situation, I can say that, but I don't know what association
specific.
Do
you have what kind of, you have contracts with the apartment complex, or how does that all work? Like if I'm your client, how do you engage with me legally? How does that work?
So I still give them the IABS form that you give all the residential clients, the disclosure. There's no contracts between me and the client, so they're not obligated. They can actually use as many locators as they want. So that's the difference between residential. Usually you have the buyer rep agreement, and they're kind of tied to you in some way, but that can also be, canceled out. But with apartment locating, it's very competitive. So that's the thing. They can use any locator. They're not able to just use me. Like, they don't have to.
Right.
But that's why I make sure that I'm doing my job the best, and I'm offering a lot more, and I'm being more hands-on and not treating them like a robot.
Right.
And I've actually had clients say, I don't want them to feel like they're a paycheck or I'm just a robot. And I say the same thing to them that I say to everybody else. I actually try to make it more personable, become friends with them, build a relationship and trust with them. So that way they're more likely to be loyal to me, because I can't hold them to a contract. Mm-hmm. So all they have to do is, when they apply to the unit they want at what apartment they choose, they just put my name down that they referred me, and then the apartments take that, and that's how they pay me. They just have to put my name down. So as an apartment locator, you have to really have trust in your client that they're going to do that, because they could be using 6 locators and
wow.
And they can just put whoever they want, or they can put their friend. So sometimes there's that risk, but residential also has that risk too sometimes.
So you're basically a buyer's agent.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Okay. So interesting. What is the typical term of a lease on an apartment?
Usually 12. It used to be 12 months when I was younger in leased apartments, but now it can go as far as 14 months, 15 months. They even have some that are 6 months and 10 months. But usually a locator would not get paid unless some of them do it by 10 months or more, but most of the time it's 12 months or more.
So what do you see this generation doing? Is this the trend? Are they buying houses, or are they renting?
Well, usually the clients that attract to my page are usually college students, so they're younger, they're not ready to buy a house, they might be in a relationship, but it's still early. They're not trying to get married and have a house with kids yet. They're trying to get through school. Or I have nurses that work night shifts and their hours. I have a lot of flight attendants, so they're not always there. So they don't need a big home. You know what I mean? They're not there yet. So that's why my page appeals to a younger generation, because I know that's my audience. I know I'm looking for a younger generation. They're not really looking to buy a house. Some do, and if they do, then that's great. I can take them and be like, hey, I can help you with that too.
Sure.
So it kind of works both ways. I can get leads from the apartment locating and turn them into my residential clients. And then they trust me. They're like, because that's the thing. I think people get confused. They're like, they don't realize apartment locators are realtors, and that they can only do one and not the other.
Yep.
We can do it all, most of it anyways.
Well, what you're trying to do is create a customer for life.
Yes. So with apartment locating, it's repeat business. And to me, that's what's going to make me money, is repeat business. I might not want them to buy a home, because then now I don't have them anymore.
If I had to ask you 3 things that make you special or make someone want to do business with you, what are those 3 things?
I think I'm warm. I would say I'm warm. You come to me and you talk to me, I do sound like I care. You're not just another person to me, and I'm not in your face. I'm not a vulture. I really do care. Even if it doesn't work out for me, I care about your best interest. So even if they pick an apartment that's not going to pay locators, because not all of them do. Some of them do not pay locators. They don't have a trouble leasing their building, so they don't need us. So, but if they choose that, I'm not going to try to persuade them for my best interest. I'm going to be like, that's great. I'm happy for you. Let me know if you need anything. I feel like I'm more warm and trustworthy, that they understand that. And then I would say that I'm kind of goes with warm. I just feel like I'm their friend.
So warm, trustworthy, friend, I think the theme is clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I want my business to be. I want them to know that they can trust me. And
so you have a very interesting logo.
Yes.
You have. So describe your logo.
It's a wolf because Jaclyn Wolf inherited it when I got married, and I'm very proud of it. And I like to think of the Wolf of Wall Street, Wolf of Real Estate, howling for business. Yeah, he gave me that one.
Yeah, I did give you that one.
He gave me that one. Yeah. Wolf of Wall Street, that hustle, that move.
But the wolf on your business card and on your social media and your films and everything, it's basically a howling wolf. Mm-hmm. Okay, straight up.
Yes.
But what's on the wolf?
A pearl necklace.
Yeah.
I love pearls. It just reminds me of my granny and everything, and I just love it. Classiness to me, pearls are classy and they're just elegant. And
I think it's the funny thing for me is I see a lot of logos and I see a lot of marketing tools, and that's one of the first logos that I stopped and looked at multiple times.
Really?
Yep, that's true.
Yeah. That's nice.
Yeah.
That's a good thing, right?
It's a great thing. It's a great thing.
I wanted it to look like me. Like, I'm a wolf. I wear the pearl necklace. So now people do, like, if I walk by, there's the wolf. There's the wolf right there. Like, not even Jaclyn. Mm-hmm. The wolf.
Well,
so
see, you've already been tagged.
Yeah. And my husband is the same way. They don't call him by his first name either. It's always Wolf. And it just kind of sticks, and that's why the logo, I based it off that.
Yeah, I like that. Trey, I think you have queued up something for us to show. I wanted to show this short clip of you.
I have a passion for helping people. Hi, my name is Jaclyn Wolf with United Real Estate. I am determined to provide the best service for all my clients. I like simplifying the process and making it hassle-free. Going through a real estate transaction can be very stressful, and I like to be very hands-on every step of the way. Time is of the essence, and so my marketing team and I will provide strong communication and consistently follow up even after the sale. I care about my clients, and I want what's best for them. I always make sure I have a list of different lenders, home inspectors, insurance companies that I trust. I see myself as the wolf of real estate, and I want to be the wolf on your side of negotiations, especially the tough ones. This is my passion, and that's why I do it.
Who was that wolf?
Who was that wolf?
I think it's great. I watched it the other day, and I thought, well, I wanted to show something that represented, what you do and how you see yourself, and I thought it was very well done.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I want to talk about real estate. Mm-hmm. You joined United Real Estate, and which is in this building,
yes,
just down the hall. Tell me about how that happened and why you joined United Real Estate.
So, like I said, my husband's cousin, I worked for her, and then I was like, I need to get my own license. I don't want to be assistant anymore. So I went to Champions in Plano, and I was going to school, and I really didn't have a broker picked out, or I thought I was going to go with her broker, because if I'm going to work for her, I have to be under her. So I wasn't even really looking. But then in class, they're saying you should really shop brokers. So I was like, I really don't want to separate from her, but I don't know if this broker is going to be the right decision for me. But I don't know because I've never talked to anybody else. So he might be great. I might go interview other people and then decide, I want to stay with him. Or I might find somebody else that might fit my needs better. And so, but I didn't even start yet. And I actually was hiring a tutor to pass my exams. And it was Rebecca Savage, who is a realtor for United Real Estate. And we met here at the office in the building. And we tutored, and I met Nick, our managing broker. But I didn't interview. Like, I was around the setting, and she told me, you probably should come back. And I was like, I will. I just want to make sure I pass this exam first. Like, I can't think about anything else. I was so stressed. And so I passed the exam, and then I set up an interview, and I talked to Nick, and I was like, I could shop a little more, but it just felt right. Like, it felt right from the beginning. Even when the day I was there tutoring, and just the atmosphere and walking in, it just felt right. And the team, the support, it's just great. And it led me here. I got to meet you, and it just keeps getting better, So anything with United Real Estate, I'm for, even if it doesn't benefit me, if I can help in any way. I just feel like it's great. It feels like a family to me. My cousin is actually just started at Champions taking her classes. I'm like, you need to come over here. I keep telling, I was like, you need to come over here. It's great. And so that's kind of like how I picked it. It all started from like a tutor, but I was like, I need to be smart and try to talk to somebody else, but it just felt right. I don't know how else to explain it. Like, it's just, and then even one of my friends, she was with another broker, and I met her at Champions, and then she came over because of me too. I was like, you need to come over here, you need to talk to them. So I've kind of been recruiting a little bit.
You're an influencer.
Yes, I'm a trendsetter. Hence the Instagram. Yeah.
Oh, this will be the next 3 bullet points.
Yes, the next bullet points. Yeah. So
let's talk about social media.
Okay.
Because I know you have a passion for it.
I do,
but you're smart about it. So where would we start this conversation? First off, what is? Let's go elementary.
Okay.
Let's include people like me.
Okay, I'll try.
Yeah. We're dealing. People know I'm out there, but I'm still learning a lot about social media, and there's certain things I just have no clue about. So, how did you get started in the very first place? I mean, when you started using social media, what were you doing, and when was it?
It was just actually for personal, like my kids and me. I never used it for business until I was an assistant and helping market the posts and editing photos for them. But it was mostly just personal and just learning it as my own. And
so you were doing like Facebook?
Yeah, I was doing Facebook and Instagram. I had both. I had Snapchat and would do the funny faces with my kids and everything. And then even yesterday, like I said, we were at Cracker Barrel, and I can't help it. I took pictures of my food. I was like, this would be cute. Like, I'm going to post this later. Let everybody be jealous of my amazing breakfast. So that's what I think. It's most like, oh, I'm going to take it. Like, I try to catch moments, and I don't think about it as, oh, post this and post that. It just comes natural. I'm like even the sunset, even my husband, every time we're driving, if he sees a cool sunset, he's like, look at that. And he wants to take a picture. So sometimes
you take a lot of pictures.
Yeah, I just take a lot of pictures, and that's kind of like where it started from, just catching moments with my kids and videos, and then editing them and sharing them. And then I was like, I can incorporate this into my business.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I really didn't care about how many followers I had until I had my license and I started my own and started my own team. And like I said, I actually was trying to focus more on residential. So if I was going to have a Facebook, to me, residential is more Facebook because that's an older generation. Mm-hmm. Those are people like first-time home buyers with their kids, and they're growing up a little bit. They don't do so much that Instagram.
Their parents are on there. Their grandparents are on there.
So it's on an older generation.
80-year-old women with tattoos.
Yes. And but Instagram, they're still kids, basically. They're young kids. And
what would you say is the range of age, the median age for Instagram?
Instagram, I've seen young children get on there and their parents have accounts for them. But my followers, I try to keep it at least 18 because they can't get an apartment unless they're 18. And then I would say sometimes it's their early 30s. It just also depends on their lifestyle. I mean, I have flight attendants that are older, but they're just not, that's their lifestyle. They're not really there. They don't have kids. They like to travel. Maybe they don't want kids. So it can kind of go a little bit older, but most of the time it's the college kids, like early 20s, I would say. Early 20s is usually 20, 27. I would say it's
about that. That's the prime group.
For Instagram, yes. Facebook, it can be all ages.
It's funny that you mentioned when you start talking about flight attendants and people like that, professionals that travel a lot, because I know in 1983, 84, when I first moved to Dallas, right up the street, the tollway ended at this building. Yeah. So there was no tollway north. It was just the Dallas Parkway. But where Lowry's is located today, that used to be something called the Rusty Pelican. And you could walk across the street to the apartment complex, and I lived in an apartment across the street, and I'm looking back, almost everybody in that apartment complex were young professionals, and like the girls downstairs and next door, they were all with American Airlines, so it was kind of a place to land. You're really just trying to find a place to land while you're doing your 20s, and then but I did hear a trend the other day that a lot of this new generation, they're either living at home or they're moving home after college, and they're living in these multi-generational family homes where you've got the mom and the dad are helping take care of the grandmother and grandfather, and then the young ones are moving back home. So you literally, it's like an old TV show where you wouldn't remember these shows, but there are shows. I just think about there used to be a TV show back on in the 60s called My Three Sons, and there was the grandfather, or Uncle Charlie, and I mean it's just like who are all these people that live in this house? But I did hear the other day that there are some trends for this current generation of not buying homes. They're minimalist. They don't want any of the things that my generation strived for.
Yeah.
They don't. If they inherited a ranch, they wouldn't keep it. They were like, I don't want that.
They don't want responsibility.
Yeah.
And they don't want to have a lot of upkeep. Everything's fast moving these days. So having a ranch or a home where they have to fix something themselves if it breaks down, they don't want that. They
can't.
Yeah, they'd
have to hire it.
Me too.
I understand.
Sometimes I have to. I don't know, and so it's just that's how it is now. It's sad. Like I live in the country now, so I don't live in Uptown Dallas. So I still have to mow the yard and fix, and even though I rent, we still have that. And I like the old school and the country and the peace.
And you live in Terrell or outside of Terrell?
Yes, it's in Terrell. I'm wanting to buy a house in Crandall, but sometimes it takes time.
Sure.
We actually had a house that we owned and bought in Forney, and then we sold it. And then we moved in with my mom a little bit because I was pregnant with kids. So we struggle. And it was like early on, But then we were renting in Terrell. And then so we've been trying to build back up and buy again. And we were kind of waiting until I had my license so we can be my own agent. So now that's why we kind of been waiting. And we were just renting. But there's not many apartments out that way. They're all around here. That's why we have our own database, like in MLS, because there's so many. As a kid, I never realized that these were apartments. I thought they were all work buildings. My mom worked in Dallas and worked in one of these big fancy buildings, and I thought all the buildings around it, but no, they're high rises. Yep. I was like, I wish I knew about locators when I was younger, like in my 20s, and I was waiting tables. I could have lived in a great apartment. So that's kind of where I get my drive from. It's like, I wish I knew about this when and I don't think people do. A lot of people don't realize there's apartment locators. And that's just with the social media, that's what I try to advertise. It's a free service. Yep. Take advantage of it. Sure. And with residential too, it just kind of ties all together.
Well, Uptown's so popular, for those that don't know, that are maybe watching this in Germany or South Africa, Uptown is very close to downtown Dallas. Yes. It's a stone's throw. It's really where a lot of the better restaurants are located. There's been a lot of apartment complexes and a lot of condominiums and lifestyle. It's really about lifestyle. They can go to the gym, they can go to Starbucks.
Yes.
They can get on the cable car. See? It's all about convenience.
I get a lot of requests for Uptown. And the problem with that is people don't realize because that's all there, their prices are going to be higher. So
they're paying for Uptown.
Yeah, so if you want Uptown, that's fine, but you might need to raise your budget a little bit. Or my job is to try to find those specials to get it to where they can live where they want to in their price range. It's a little hard sometimes, but you have someone like me and my team doing all the work for you. Yeah. And then I'll tour with you. We prepare folders. We really do it all. We try to hold their hand the whole way. And it's actually very much simpler for a client to apply for an apartment than trying to buy a home. That's a big stressful process. And that's another reason a lot of people I feel like do apartments, because that's a stressful time in those few months. And, I just feel I can do that too. And I can hold your hand in residential. Like I want to do that too.
What's the hottest spot in Uptown?
Uptown, as far as apartment or just like the area in Uptown?
Well, I think if I contacted you and I'm 25 years old and I'm a flight attendant, what's the criteria? I mean, I'm thinking, what streets are we looking for? Are we looking for
McKinney,
near 75?
Knox, near 75 too. There's some apartments over there kind of in the middle where 5 minutes you're in downtown, 5 minutes you're in Uptown. So there's some that are in Central, but most of the time they want near Knox, Henderson, or the Katy Trail. That's a big thing. Everyone wants to jog and run with their dog, and Katy Trail, basically anything.
Cedar Springs.
Yeah, Cedar Springs. Yeah. So I get a lot of, I want Uptown near Katy Trail, or I want Knox, Henderson, because that's where all the retail and the restaurants are, and it's convenient. And usually Uptown, especially during the summer, a one bedroom is $1,400. sometimes even more during peak season. Sometimes they go a little bit lower during November, December when it's cold. Most people don't move during the holidays. But summer, because college kids are coming, moving, and they got to start school to SMU, and so they're moving to go to school, or they're moving back home, or so summer is a big. May to August is very, very busy, and then it kind of slows down a little bit. But I also do tell people, like, I know it's repeat business for me, but like I said, I do care about my clients, and I let them, like, if I feel like their situation's different and they're in a relationship or a little bit older or whatnot, I do say, like, I can help you buy a home too as well, and your money's going to an investment, you know.
Well, we're hoping for equity.
Yeah, like so renting does to me is kind of throwing your money in the trash, and to spend $1,400 on one bedroom when you can spend that on a house with a yard. So I mean, I do let them know, like, when you're ready to buy, let me know. I have a great team, and I can help you with that too, you know, with your money. Like, so I kind of let them know. I don't want them to feel like they're wasting their money a little bit.
I would advise.
But it really depends on their lifestyle too.
I would advise anyone that's, especially young people, rent during high price times. I'm not about real estate. I'm talking about rent your apartment during the peak of the real estate seasons, and then when the recessions hit, which they do, which it will, and it's coming. Just my prediction. People are going like, when do you think that's going to happen? I'm just being very realistic, and because we always cycle when we talk about that. You can get on the internet and look at the national trends, the international trends of economies. Economies by nature, what happens is the times get good, banks loosen up their pocketbook, they make a lot of loans they probably shouldn't make. And as this accentuates, then people can't make those payments. And we wake up one day, the economy's gone down a little bit. There's an election cycle coming. That's always a concern. And then at certain points, we don't know the exact time, but when it happens, and then all of a sudden you see all these houses on the market because people are losing them, that's when you want to buy. You buy then.
Yes.
Now, the key is knowing when during that cycle, because you don't know how long. But this last one was long in relation to some others, and so I would highly advise for those that are thinking about buying their first time home through you that they do it during the lower cycles, because then you can really help them get a deal.
My mom,
and look at interest rates right now. Interest rates are phenomenal right now, just phenomenal. And the other thing is price range of homes. You know, the starter homes, what do you consider a starter home price tag right now? And I know it depends on location, but
because where I'm at, usually a starter home, you can get them for like $80,000, $90,000 that maybe need a lot of work. But then some that maybe don't need much work.
Let's say a track home. Let's say, the grind them out, I mean, if you're on an airplane, you're looking down and they stamp them out like, they're building 20 a day or 30 a day, and all these subdivisions where they all look alike.
Yes. Where I'm at in Forney over there, they're all about $220, $250. My house, we actually just executed a contract on my mother's house 2 days ago, and that's at $222. And
so a couple of $100,000.
And like you said, right now everyone in her neighborhood were for sale. Like there was 20 houses just to get to her street that were for sale. So it's very competitive. Everyone's selling right now because that's the market right now. So it was really, and I pushed and everything. But every subdivision, if you live in Forney, it's nothing but subdivisions right there, and everyone's trying to get out, and everyone's for sale out there.
Where are people? If they sold a house in Forney, where do they move? Where do you think they move?
Well, we're trying to go to Crandall because the school districts are really good, and it's still very small town. A lot of people out there still want that small town feel. And Terrell is actually, where I live, is building up. But they are building up Buc-ee's. They just built Ross. They're actually building a lot of commercial. They built a Starbucks that wasn't used to be there before. And they do have some new builds there too. But I feel like Terrell's
poised to blow up.
Yeah, Terrell's coming up.
Yeah, I stop at Buc-ee's whenever I go through Terrell. Just about
that's where
every
I
time.
Live kind of close to there.
And they've actually created their own it's like a development area, commercial. I mean, like every restaurant you can imagine. It's pretty amazing how because Terrell, I remember Terrell.
Overnight, it just seemed like.
Back in the 80s, I used to do a lot of auctions in Terrell. A lot of businesses that we sold and at auction, and Main Street was kind of dying and that kind of deal. But, it's been amazing to see Terrell grow. But it's going to continue to grow, and it's going to continue,
You want to buy now before all the prices go up.
Yeah.
That's
what happened.
I tell people that. I've been telling them that. I was like, I love Terrell. I was like, I kind of want to go to Crandall because the schools are a little bit better. They haven't, to me, in my opinion, the schools are still needing fixing, and they're still, but they're working. I know they're working on that.
In Terrell?
Yeah, in Terrell. And
if we could get Jamie Foxx to come back home,
I
and he could probably prop up the whole school system.
Yeah, he should. I see pictures of him everywhere. In
I'm
Terrell.
sure.
Yeah.
He's the most famous son of Terrell, Texas.
Yeah, and I love where I live. So I actually love the street I'm on. I love the people in Terrell. Still very small town. Crandall's still very small town. Forney used to be, and it kind of just blew up, and people are like, they want to go back. So they're kind of moving more back into the country. Not toward Mesquite, but they're going Terrell, Crandall, Kaufman. They're kind of
that way.
Yeah, everyone's like escaping.
Yep.
So,
sure.
But Terrell right now, I feel like that. My prediction is it's going to be a really. I would buy now.
Hot market.
Buy now, because in a few years, all those prices are going to go up.
Well, it's inevitable.
Yeah.
So where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I see myself as a huge entrepreneur, multiple things going on, not just the apartment locating or residential, but, I'm learning a little bit. I might be rusty today, but I want to be a public speaker. I want to have live events and let people know my knowledge and how I got there, and that it was a struggle. My whole thing is helping people. I really feel like that's where my passion comes from, and that's why I feel like I got into real estate too, because I feel like I'm helping people. I'm guiding them to make their dreams come true, because I know it was a struggle for me and how I grew up and how hard it can be without that support and people that you trust. And so I just want to be that person, and I want to do live events one day, and I want to be on a podcast. This is one of my bucket lists. So thank you so much. I want to be on a radio station. I want to do things where I'm like regularly doing a podcast, regularly doing a radio station, promoting my business, having a full team on the apartment locating, not just right now I'm at 1 or 2 people because that's what I can manage right now. But as we grow, I want to have more on my team. I want to have different locations, not just Dallas, maybe like spread it out a little bit more to the surrounding cities as well. I just want to.
And how old are you now?
I am 32 now.
You're 32.
32.
Well, I've got great news for you.
Oh, gosh.
You're young.
Yes.
So you have lots of time to do lots of things and build your brand and build your business. And I've watched a lot of your stuff, and that's the reason we have you on right now, because I think you're getting a snapshot of someone that's going to be extremely successful and very dedicated to what you do. You're not a waster of time. You've got things going on.
Yes.
And you work a lot, but you also take care of your family. So you're doing everything you can do. But I know you have a lot more you're going to do. So thank you for being here, and
thank you for having me.
You bet. Well, it's good. You've got great energy, and that's what I like. So if somebody wanted to call you or email you, tell us your contact information so they can get a hold of you if they'd like to do business with you, or if they need an apartment, or if they want to buy or sell a house.
My phone number is 469-435-9588. And my Instagram, if you want to follow me, that would be great, because that's where you're going to see everything. You can contact me and my team and it's @Wolf_Locators. And that's how you'll find me. My email is Jaclyn Wolf.
Spell your name.
JACLYN Wolf, WOLF .realtor@gmail.com if it's residential, and then JaclynWolf.locator@gmail.com if you want to do apartments. I try to keep them separate because they can get pretty busy. And I like to try to keep very organized. So I like to separate. So I have 2 emails, but either one, it doesn't matter. You can contact me and follow me. And I also have a Facebook for the apartment locating. I just base it off. I link them.
But they can find you. They can just search for Jaclyn Wolf.
Yeah, Jaclyn Wolf, Wolf Locators.
They're
you'll
going to find
me.
you. Yeah. We checked it out.
I post a lot of funny videos too. See, and that's the thing. It's not always just about an apartment or a house. Like, I want you to know me, and that's how I feel like I'm building a brand. So I'll do funny, goofy TikTok videos. I make sure the girls are taking pictures of themselves so they can put a face to who they're talking to.
Sure.
And that little commercial you saw earlier for residential, will also be doing one for the apartments too. Because I feel like the residential is more conservative, and
Sure.
I like to show that classy lady side. But then in the apartments, I like to see the fun side, and I can be a little goofy and dance and be funny. Or I think I'm funny. I think so.
Some people are and some people aren't.
I like to think I'm funny.
I think you're pretty funny. We would recommend that anybody that wants to help Jaclyn build her business, you can also share this video of the Mike McGavel Jones Show. You can share it with as many people as you want to. We'd love for you to do that. Get the word out about her. Get the word out about our show.
Yes.
And we'll be back again next week. We've got another great guest. And Jaclyn, congratulations on being a part of United Real Estate.
I'm proud.
We're glad
proud
to have
be
you with
part,
us.
Part
and,
of United Real Estate.
We look forward to watching you do great things in the future.
Thank you.
So that's it for us. Travis and I are going to wrap this one up on behalf of everyone that's a part of this show here in Dallas at Lincoln Center. We thank you so much for being a part of it, and we look forward to seeing you next time. God bless you, and we bid you adieu.